Okay, so as soon as I tried to start recording this video, all I could hear was oompa loompa doopa dee doo. Okay, so I don't know if somebody's trying to solve a bunch of puzzles, but listen, Sherlock Holmes, I hope that this puzzle is solved by the end of this reading. God, my Opa used to sing that song all the time. So, who is this reading for? I know I just said it. Cancer. Did I say Scorpio? I might have. I just recorded Scorpio. Still have them in my head a little bit. So, this is for Cancer. This is a water sign. Okay. It's this is a little tricky reading. So I brought in your energy from the past, okay? And the Ace of Swords came up with the Nine of Cups. So I was like, okay, so Cancer has figured out, in the past, they were very straightforward with what they wanted, okay? They're very straightforward in having their cake and eating it too, okay? Cancer indulged, okay? So then I asked the black deck, I was like, okay, black deck, tell me a little bit about the tarot. This is what came up. Healing heart and seduction. So I feel like right away I was like, okay, so somebody might have had like a lot of addictions. Okay, and they had a lot of sex. And they seduced a lot of people. Okay, they might have had a lot of threesomes. They indulged. Okay, one comes the other. Okay, they were also heartbroken. Okay, so you have to realize, like, sometimes when people act out, it's because they are hurting. It's not because they want to. And I feel like people are so personal about things. They take things so personally that they feel like, okay, so you break up with somebody, they go out and sleep with somebody, and then the other person's like, oh, you did it to hurt me. And it's like, no, like sometimes it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. Sometimes it just has to do with you. You know, like it doesn't, just because, you know, obviously that person went out and slept with somebody because they were hurting and the only way that they can feel better is to sleep with somebody else. It doesn't mean that it's supposed to hurt you. Like if it hurts you, that's your opinion. That's your fault. You know, like you broke up with them or they broke up with you. It's done. It's over with. You can't, you know, like you can feel whatever you want to feel, but you can't expect that person to make you feel better about things, you know? I don't know what that rant was about. Sometimes I just rant about things. Okay, so you were, you know, flirty, whatever. You were hooking up with mad bitches or mad dudes, okay? Whatever. That's what people do. Again, you were in that stage of your life and you were hurt. So you took the addiction road for a while. And that's okay. Okay, that was the truth for you. That's fine. Moving into the current situation. Hold on. I can't satisfy my thirst with a big gulp. Like my sister gets me this size and I feel like I need a bigger size. Okay. Coming in to this energy, because I'm like, okay, what is this reading about, Cancer? I wanted to say Scorpio again. Maybe you're a Scorpio. You have Cancer in your chart or something. I got the Six of Pentacles with the Six of Swords, 6-6, the Ace of Wands beside it. So I'm like, okay, so this person now, Cancer has moved from being totally selfish, living a life of luxury, to I now want to be generous. And you want that generosity to move forward with you, okay? Because that generosity is going to lead you somewhere. And that's why the Ace of Wands is here. So I was like, black deck, tell me about it. So I got coffin. Okay, so you've definitely coffined out those old patterns. Okay, so this is a new beginning for you. You being generous is a whole new ball game for a lot of people, okay? Because you have evolved. and you have grown and you have healed the inner child that wants to indulge. Like, I was trying to think, man, my parents are like 64 years old, okay? 62 and 64, and like they still act like they're like 20. And okay, sure, that can be cool if they were like good people, but they're not good people. So they keep like, my mom is a bartender and she's like dying of breast cancer, and I'm like, can you just like, grow up like anytime soon? Like, my parents like think it's cool to just like kick it with their friends all the time and get drunk, and I'm like, you guys are grandparents, like, what the like, grow up. Like I feel like my whole just, they won't grow up. And like, you grew up. I don't know if your parents are like my parents. I'm just like, honestly, grow up. Like oh, take the diaper off. Like, seriously, like, some people have serious problems growing up. They just can't, especially if young people have kids young. Then they feel like they lost their 20s, and they're like, I lost my 20s, I lost my 30s, I gotta go party now, and I gotta go, do all these dudes and spend all this money and buy this ridiculous car and have this midlife crisis. And it's like, yeah, because you had a kid and you didn't live your life. No offense to anybody who has children. Honestly, that is my opinion. I feel like a lot of people regret things. That's just what I'm saying. That's what I'm picking up, okay? You didn't do that. Maybe you did. I don't know. Anyways, that's another rant. Okay, but people, you healed your inner child, okay? You self-indulged in your 20s and in your 30s like you're supposed to, and you can continue to self-indulge for the rest of your life, okay? But you're also now going to, like, give some of it away, okay? And you're going to give some of it away so then it can move you forward, okay? Because sometimes, that whole thing called, like, what goes around comes around. You might have, like, been eating the cake for a really long time, and then you're like, okay, now I gotta get back to the bakery. Like, you can only take so much, okay, before you gotta give some back. So in the future, something happens, okay, and you look at this lady sitting in between, this lady with the wall up, and this Knight of Swords coming straight at her, but she's standing there she's sitting there with a sword, like, bring it on, okay? So what I feel like is coming in the future, and I got Cupid's arrow when I asked the other deck with it. So I don't know if whatever this Ace of Wands is, it could change you somehow. And then you realize how much you want to defend this because it's the truth. Okay, and a woman in her truth, or a masculine man in his feminine, energy truth is like, listen, but you also, know better. Like, what you're talking about. Like, or somebody knows what they're talking about, and it's like, that's what needs to be defended. Because it's all these swords, so all this information, all this air, and Cupid's arrow. So have faith, love is coming, surprise invitation or meeting, and hesitation. So, like, you might be hesitant with people that come to you with things that they've got to say. You might be hesitant with, not defending anybody else but yourself. And, like, that's totally fine. When you bring, your generosity and your piece of the puzzle forward, right, then information can come in, and like, you might be at like an obstacle right now because you're learning how to expand something, and when you expand something, it means you're adding to it. And that's what you also have this card, so ascension. Okay, ascending. So you're ascending as you transform through this generosity stage. It transforms your life. And it might make those obstacles that were in the past a little bit easier because you just donated. You know what I mean? Like, there's some type of learning expansion, a new phase, and you're preparing for a union. You're preparing for something. And maybe that has to do with Cupid's arrow. Like this next phase that you're falling in love with. Something that that has to do with, the new you and not the old you. Like, if you're evolving, then that means that you're changing, and if you're changing, that means that you're growing. And if you're growing, then damn right I would stand pretty fierce in front of that wall, because it probably just took you a long time to build that, and you're not just going to let anybody break that down. Right? And sitting in that, when people come at you, you might, because it's like this, like, you might learn how to keep these kind of people away from you now with this wall. learning how to build that wall. And maybe, you know, maybe somebody helps you. Like maybe that's what this whole thing is about, is maybe somebody comes into your life and they are the other piece to your puzzle that helps build this wall for you, so then you can keep these people from coming at you saying stuff all the time when you know you're quite comfortable with what you have to say. So it's all about truth with you. So you might as well keep it going till the very end with anybody that's got anything to say. I like to see them try and get past that. So anyways, thank you, Cancer, for watching, and namaste. Have a good one.